What's wrong? Out of stamina?
Mitsuru might be my favorite character so far, at least as a playable character. So she's quite versatile. Not only does she have an insane range, so check this out. Look how far her épée lands. Like, look at this. I can hit him from here. That's insane. And her combo is nice too because it has an added kick at the end, knocking the enemy back. So this is her regular combo. Which is pretty nice. So I'm thinking I can combo with something else later, but this is her heavy attack, which is quite unique to her. So her downwards is a thrust, and then her jumping, reach there. But this is where her special heavy attack comes into play. So you can charge it up here, or you can do it quickly, and you can move as well. So I can move back, and I can move forward like a charge attack. Check this out. Whoops, let me see. And it goes quite the distance. Like I would say it kind of goes all the way. Let's try that again. Fuck. Yeah, so it's pretty much arena wide, which is nice. So a lot of versatility in that heavy attack. Other than that, her persona is also very useful. You can hold the Y button and she will just do a flurry in front of her. Does ice damage, which is nice, and her B is actually quite unique. So it's a stab that pretty much hits arena wide by quite the distance. However, there is a weakness to this, and that means it actually can't hit when the enemy's close. So like if I'm this close to him, it'll miss. So there's a weakness to this. It can only hit at medium or long range. That's one thing to notice. Other than that, her special attack is a it's like a rising slash like this. I don't really see how useful this is because I can't really combo that much. It just knocks the opponent out though. So that is something nice. I can't even combo like a jump after it either. But she does have that. And then her grab. Just a stab, no further inputs that you can do there. So that's that, pretty simple. She has her burst, of course. And she naturally has a all-out attack. It's quite a long animation, so if I fuck it up, I'm pretty much going to get punished for it because she does like a little low stance after. There's that. But if it does hit, simple. You can combo it again, of course, too. So that's that. Anything about her specials? Her special abilities are quite... nothing special, I would say. Like, she can summon her ice things here, and then once I start attacking the enemy, then they'll follow up, so there's that. But what I like about Mitsuru most of all is her range. The only hard part is that you need to land hits. So because of her épée is so flippin' tiny, it's not like Kanji where I can just swing the chair and get a combo. I need to kind of be precise in my attacks, so there is that. But yeah, if you look at her command list, it's actually not that, it's not that comprehensive at all. So honestly, I shouldn't have too much trouble with this. If I say that, but we shall see. I almost got my ass whipped last time by, what, Aegis? And Mitsuru too. Mitsuru almost beat me. So let us begin with the first Persona 3 character. With Mitsuru. Late November in the year 2010. Oh shit. 2010, damn. I was 10 years old back then. The darkness fell without warning. At the same time, the previously busy examination room fell so silent that the man's ear hurt. What?
Hey, what happened?
He called towards the back of the room, but no answer came. After working for public safety for over a decade, he thought little could faze him anymore, but this was uncomfortably alien. It was no ordinary blackout. If it were, the faint light from machines running on battery power such as cell phones would remain. But the silence disturbed him even more. He hadn't heard so much as a single cry. As he looked around, he saw a spot in the darkness. Something was giving off an eerie glow as if painted in incandescent pigments. What? Dark hour? Once his eyes began to adjust to the darkness. Oh, right, because it's 2010. This is... oh, shit, this is a flashback then. After... oh, this is cool, because this is a flashback to... was it May 10? 2010. Wait, it doesn't make any sense though that the dark hour should be over because we ended this shit early 2010. Okay, well, guess we'll find out. He was able to faintly make out the area around the light. The shining spot was revealed as a small, strangely decorated box. One that the man had only just delivered to the forensic unit.
Forensics team! What the hell is...
He called out, still squinting at the shadow of a person he could see and the window before him. But as the shape resolved, he saw that it was not a person's shadow at all.
Huh?
He had no words to describe it. At first glance, it seemed to be a coffin. Indeed, this is what it was shaped like. But he had never seen a coffin standing upright, tall as an adult, shining like a dark crystal. Yet that was clearly what the crystalline mask was, squatting in the spot where a window clerk normally stood. And upon closer examination, it wasn't the only one. At desk in front of the evidence shelf next to the reference computer, the objects towered everywhere, as if they had taken the place of humans.
What are these?
They're, upright funeral caskets. Take one home. A chill ran down from the man's spine. They're people, was the thought that instinctively came to mind. Was this the reason he couldn't hear anyone else's voice? Was it because everyone but him was...
What's going on?
Once the fear had set in, it wasn't easy to shake off. His familiar office was starting to look like a grotesque netherworld. He felt quite sure that he had to get out. Quickly, he turned and grabbed the knob to the door through which he had just entered. But...
What the...
It didn't budge. It wasn't the door that was locked, preventing the knob from turning the latch. The knob was completely frozen in place.
Is anyone here? Hey, let me out!
The man slammed his fist against the door, yelling in desperation. The sensation he felt when his fist impacted the surface was that of hitting a door. It felt completely at odds with what he saw if a picture of a door had been drawn onto a solid wall. It was then that the man noticed another light, similar in color to that emanating from the box. Could it be seen on part of his hand as he swung it forward? It was a ring. And suddenly he remembered. When he brought in the small box, he found several bizarre ring-shaped objects within it. While handing it over to forensics, he suspected that they might be rings to check the theory he put one on. And now, the ring was emanating the same eerie light as the box. Though we still had no idea what was going on, it was immediately apparent that it was directly related to the current situation. The man grabbed the ring with sweat-slicked fingers and tugged, ready to pull off his own finger if necessary. What am I playing, like some sort of visual novel? Well, no shit, Umbra, that's what you've been doing for like the past 8 episodes. Yeah, true. But just at that moment...
I wouldn't take that off right now.
What?
The man can't help but gasp. He looked around. He could sense no one was inside the room with him. Where had the voice come from? Oh, let me guess. Mitsuru's communicating with him through his smart ring. Yeah, I know. Smart rings are a thing. Surprised? I was too when I figured out that those things existed.
I'll be there to rescue you shortly. Calm yourself and wait there.
They're bloody expensive, by the way. I looked up the price of a smart ring. It was like 400 bucks. I was like, imagine losing that shit when you're out running or something. That's minus $400 right there. I swear, people are digitalizing everything. Next, we'll have flippin' smart teeth. And the teeth can analyze the nutrients with every bite and only take what you need. Ugh. When the man calmed himself, he realized that it was just a voice. The sensation was indescribable, but it was distinctively unlike hearing with one's ears.
Who's there?
Oh, pardon me. This is Mitsuru Kirijo. We met earlier.
Kirijo. He did know a Kirijo. It was she who brought the strange small box. And that wasn't all he knew. The Kirijos were a wicked family who used their fortune and influence as a shield, a constant frustration to the police. Despite that, the man couldn't help but feel a relief wash over him. Perhaps he might survive after all.
Oh, well, I appreciate the help. Just hurry.
After getting the muttered words out, he sank to the floor, the door at his back. Mitsuru Kirijo, if he recalled correctly, she was the eldest daughter of the Kirijo group's founding family. Why do they call her the eldest daughter? She's the only daughter. He noted that her voice has been far calmer than his, despite the situation they were both in. He sensed a measure of trustworthiness from her. And to think, it had been merely an hour ago that he was asking himself why such a young girl has been chosen as the head of the group at all. The digital clock on the corner of the desk quietly announced the arrival of 10 a.m. in the morning. Normally most of the staff would be out and about by now, but the entire police department was in turmoil today. It was only to be expected with a key figure from the Kirijo group visiting on unusual business.
Kirijo, huh?
The Kirijo group was a major trading firm synonymous with Japan. They had links to all areas of business. Not a day could go by in the city without hearing their name. The clock that had struck 10 bore the logo of Kirijo Electronics and KJ. Oh god. Don't say KJ. You're gonna bring me back to flippin' Judgment. KJ Art. They were the carrier for the cell phone provided to every member of the force. A few days ago, the same Kirijo group had what are they? Samsung? They had made a seemingly insane proposal. The document was hundreds of pages, but a brief summary would read, "We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters."
Well, it does happen from time to time. Famous businessmen end up advocating cultish nonsense in pursuit of their ambitions.
Upon consideration, it was decided that the Kirijo group should be invited in to give their pitch. Of course, there was no intention of spending tax money on the outlandish proposal. The police's interest as humoring the Kirijo group lay elsewhere. Okay. The Kirijo group had offered an incentive whereby if the police agreed to the meeting, they would provide a detailed list of the ergonomics research lab artifacts as well as actual samples. It was that drove the official's decision. There had been dark rumors bandied? What? Dark rumors about the Kirijo group over the last 10 years. I never heard that word before. Bandied. While still a family-run business, some say the old man Koetsu Kirijo had delved into a paranormal research and was performing inhumane experiments. The police collected enough evidence to test the rumors and had prepared many times to force an investigation. But every time the investigation came to nothing due to the group's exerting hidden pressure, frustrating those working on the case to no end. The investigation's prime target was the infamous Ergo research at the Kirijo Ergonomics Research Lab. We went there, or well, at least what used to be there, I think, right? That was the underground bunker, I think, that we went to. Or maybe that's something else I'm thinking about. Exposing the Kirijo group's dark side had been a dream of public safety for 10 years now. And now, Kirijo seemed willing to hand over Ergo's research tightly guarded secrets on a silver platter. No one knew the reason for this sudden about-face, but neither did anyone think to turn them down. They agreed to the summit not to hear out whatever proposal Kirijo was offering, but as a stepping stone towards unearthing their past crimes. Time passed and the agreed upon time in the afternoon came. The man was tasked with watching over and bringing in the artifacts from the Kirijo group. Though he would not speak with the guests, the police's plan afforded him a major responsibility, one that gave him something like a leading role. It wasn't long before the Kirijo car arrived in the underground Porte Cochère. Porte Cochère. I know what porte means, I don't know what cochère means. And I speak French. Cochère. Like back? Or back? The staff there to receive the guests only shrugged at the long black limousine that would have turned heads out the main roads. One of the youngest recruits looks towards the man and asked a question.
Chief, what's with that car?
But that was the least of the surprise in store. When the Kirijo group representative stepped out of the limousine, she was revealed to be a beautiful young woman no older than a university student. Not only that, but she had attendants dressed in what could only be described as maid uniforms. All of them were young women, roughly her age. The scene mesmerized the various dignitaries present to greet her.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am Mitsuru Kirijo, representing the Kirijo group. It's nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, well that's because Mitsuru dresses like a flippin' movie star. Her brisk greeting radiated poise. From there, she shook hands with the assembled dignitaries in a manner that showed she was no stranger to social gatherings.
She's the company rep? Really?
The young recruit, who was sneaking looks out of the corner of his eyes, muttered in spite of himself.
Their proposal said the rep who's coming today would be the leader of this new unit, but I thought it was supposed to be some hardcore armed response team, and she's leading it? Well, I guess it's better than some meathead.
Shut up and hold your position.
But in truth, the man felt the same way. Certainly this monster extermination unit would never be incorporated, but even if it were, he was sure this wisp of a girl could never do such work. Eventually, the dignitaries entered the agency along with Miss Kirijo. All of them were lopsided smiles due to the young beauty's unexpected appearance, but that would do for now. The dignitaries were only there to receive her. Their true objective was loaded in the truck parked behind the limousine. The documents and artifacts of Ergo research.
All right, start bringing them in.
Roger, sir.
At the man's signal, his trained subordinates surrounded the Kirijo truck. They formed a line, smoothly passing boxes from man to man into the building. The articles were of various sizes, with even a few that came in oversized metallic containers for aerial transport. The Kirijo group had warned them not to handle these things carelessly until explanations were forthcoming. But in truth, the department was already prepared to begin a forensic investigation of the objects and even send them to the lab.
Are you sure it's okay for us to open these? The instructions said not to.
It won't be a real investigation if we let them hamstring our procedures. Besides, I can't think of anything they could send us that we couldn't handle. Unless there's real monsters inside these things.
Yeah, imagine. Mitsuru goes full rogue, just unleashes a bunch of shadows. The articles were brought in silence. The operation only lasted about 15 minutes. The man himself received the last item about the size of the jewelry box and checked the truck to make sure nothing went overlooked before closing it up. Can we give this man a name? How about that? God, I'm so sick of calling him the man. That done, he turned and walked quickly towards the forensic room, like call him Bill or something. Why Bill? I had a friend named Bill. No idea, what am I talking about? I don't know any bills at all. Except my payment bills. Try though, he might to maintain his composure, he would contain the excitement he felt. For 10 years, the darkness of the Kirijo group had been a frustrating legend like mist between the department's fingers. The chance to investigate and expose them was here at last. If even the slightest evidence matched the DNA of those who had gone missing or the victims of the unsolved case, victory would be theirs. Yeah, I guess. Makes sense. The man tried to tamp down his exhilarating and took another look at the small box he had. There was no upper lid on the box. A pedestal-like protrusion at its center held a number of small circular trinkets. The usage was completely unknown. What kind of research produced these? Just as the man was about to hand the box over to the window clerk, he saw a wedding ring on the clerk's finger and came to a realization.
Huh. Are these rings?
We're not sure yet.
The man put on some protective latex gloves and tried one of the objects on. About to go Ben 10 on his ass, or Green Lantern. After looking at it from every angle, its color and shape seemed to be nothing but ordinary. It was meant to be jewelry, it wasn't very attractive. The man couldn't picture scientists in lab coats slaving away in a lab to create rings like this. The moment that unlikely possibility came to mind, the man felt somewhat embarrassed by his ignorance of fashion and accessories. But as soon as he reached for a small box to put the ring back inside, darkness suddenly fell.
Please step away from the door.
The voice echoing in the man's mind brought him back to reality. He took a few steps away from the door as directed and stood ready. Step away from the door, the more he thought about it, the stranger the order seemed. How did she know he was so close to the door when she wasn't even in the room? Suddenly a chill filled the area. In mere seconds, the entire door was coated in white.
Where'd this ice come from?
It was frosted flakes. The man couldn't believe his eyes, but the evidence was there in front of him. You could then hear a slight knocking sound, followed by a crack forming in the center. The door buckled down under its own weight and crumbled with a sound that was like building blocks being pushed over. Standing just past it was the Kirijo woman. She walked over to the man with exquisite nonchalance. At her side was one of the maids she brought.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
We did give you fair warning, but it seems to have gone unheeded.
The man looked towards the ring shining on his finger.
And this happened because we touched that box? What is this thing?
That ring gives its bearer an unstable form of pseudo-potential and allows anyone to experience the Dark Hour.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because I was about to say the Dark Hour is gone, right? So it gives them a pseudo. So does this mean that the Dark Hour still exists, and this makes any person without a persona access the Dark Hour? Huh.
The Dark Hour?
What?
The box itself seems to be a failed recreation of the Dark Hour. The effect radius is small, and it malfunctions when improperly handled.
I see. So it was like only in this room or only in this area. That's pretty cool. I could have like a little green light show Dark Hour in my room. Be like, hey, hey, nobody can come into my room but me. Everyone else that steps in here becomes a coffin. It's like a do not disturb button. I just wear that ring and everyone within like 50 meters turns into a coffin. The dark hour, he remembered that phrase coming out of the documents in the Kirijo group had sent. If he recalled correctly, it was defined as a hidden time, unable to be experienced by normal people. A time where everything stood still. According to the documents, it seems to have occurred every night at midnight for about 10 years until spring 2010, as if it was forcing its way into normal time. Before now, it seemed like pure fantasy. But could this silent darkness be the very same thing?
So you're saying those stories in that document, that occult-sounding stuff was actually for real?
At that moment, a voice suddenly echoed from beyond the hallway past the broken door.
Who's there?
The man reflexively called out in alarm, realizing that the fear had not yet died down. What emerged from the darkness was the young recruit who had greeted the guests earlier and had been helping with bringing in the artifacts. He was staggering as if severely drunk.
Chief! Hey, are you alright?
The man started to rush to his side, but the Kirijo woman silently stopped him. He stood between the two as if protecting the man.
What? He's my...
Before he could finish, a surprising change overtook the recruit. Any more? Junior? Okay, he's dead. The recruit fell to the ground with an agonized scream. Black tar-like substance began flowing from his every orifice.
What?
The ooze spread unnaturally across the ground and cohered into a glob. It rose up like a beast, raising its head, and what looked like claws began to form. Its appearance showed clear signs that it possessed some malevolent will, right? It was turning. I forgot what they called it. Fuck. I forgot the term. But there's a specific term when a person turns into a shadow. Okay, what the demon shadow, apparently. The man thought again about the Kirijo group's initial proposal. We wish to collaborate with the police on an unofficial department for eliminating monsters. Without a doubt, this was what they were referring to. The name that came up again and again was...
This is a shadow.
That it is. It's a monster that dwells in every person's heart. They usually can't manifest themselves this way, but it's quite common to see it happen during the dark hour.
So the research to make this happen artificially. That's what Kirijo has been experimenting with.
That did seem to be the extent of it. At the start.
Guys, there's like a shadow in front of you. Can you like not talk and kill it? At the start, the man couldn't prevent himself from shuddering, imagining the implications of her statement. Okay, it's a dog now. With the second roar, the half-liquefied shadow suddenly took the form of some fell beast. But where the face should have been was nothing but a mask, giving it the bizarre appearance of two creatures stitched together. The young woman, for her part, seemed not in the least perturbed. Perturbed?
Kikuno, my things, please.
The maid stopped to reach something. The man wasn't sure what she had been carrying, but she placed a sword in her master's hand. The blade was specially shaped, similar in design to a fencing saber.
You're going to fight it?
Stay back. This will all be over soon.
Marin Karen. At the moment as of understanding their conversation, the shadow squared itself and leapt towards the young woman. Its speed matched its beastly appearance. It's the darkness of the room, and the man found it difficult simply keeping his eye on it. The young woman did not move. Her sword remained lowered in the face of the shadow's advance. Of course, thought the man, an amateur like her can never react in time. However...
Artemisia!
Mo owarida. At a word from the young woman, some unseen force slammed the shadow against the wall. The man momentarily doubted his own eyes. For it hadn't been the woman who repelled the monster, but a silhouette that suddenly appeared behind her. It looked as though that being enveloped in sublime light, contrasting the shadow's dark glow, was a woman wearing a majestic dress. The silhouette held up a hand towards the grounded shadow. Once again, the man felt freezing air fill the room. And with that, the shadow stopped moving. Frost crystallized all over it, turning it into an ice sculpture within seconds. Only then did the young woman swing the sword in her hand.
Ha!
A white gleam arced through the air. Upon impact, the frozen enemy shattered like it had been crystallized sugar rather than ice. The victory was one-sided, so the man hesitated to call that a battle.
Are you all right?
The young woman turned towards the man. The sound of her boots hitting the floor gave him the jarring realization that she hadn't moved a single step during the fray. Seeing that he was at a loss for words, she gave him a gentle smile. It was all too much for the man. He actually felt relieved to be protected by this small woman. One thing was obvious. He had been through countless battles, much like the one he just witnessed.
Your fallen employee's life is in no danger, but he'll be very weak. Make sure he gets to a hospital. Should I make the arrangements?
No, I should at least handle that. It is a public security matter.
With a nod, the young woman approached the small box and manipulated it in a way he couldn't quite catch. The eerie yellow-green light began to fade. Moments later, the silence and darkness faded too. The world has been restored. The man felt his body become suddenly lighter, causing him to breathe a sigh of relief. He hadn't realized until the pressure was gone that the air had been suffocating as if he had been underwater. There was a stir of movement in the room. The forensics team and assistants looked at the man and young woman perplexed. The man took a quick look around. Fragments of the shattered door were strewn about. The young public security worker was lying unconsciously nearby. And the Kirijo guest who had entered without anyone noticing held in her hand a drawn sword.
I'd be shocked too if I were them.
It occurred to him that if normal people could sense the dark hour, the sudden change in circumstances may have seemed to them like some magic trick.
Excuse me, but this place is off limits to all unauthorized personnel.
Shut the fuck up. You don't even have a portrait. Get out of here.
Hey, what's going on here?
I don't care about you, Mr. Forensic. Plural S. The forensic staff look at the man helplessly.
It's all right. We had a little emergency.
Oh.
That aside, halt all examination of the relics they brought in. We'll wait for further instructions from the Kirijo group.
Huh? But you said...
If there are any boxes that are closed, don't force them open. Not if you don't want to come face to face with monsters.
Leaving the frowned forensics team behind him, the man quickly went into the hallway with the Kirijo woman.
I have to thank you for your help. And about the conference, I'll join in as well. It's been arranged so nothing you say would get through to the higher-ups.
If the young woman was surprised at what amounted to a confession of betrayal, she didn't show it.
Are you saying you will reconsider your plans?
I can't overlook anything as serious as this. I wouldn't be doing my job as public security if I did. But make no mistake, the things I saw today are proof of the sins the Kirijo group has committed. They can't be punished under the law, but now that they're known, atonement will be made in some shape or form.
Indeed. I never intended anything less.
You really put one over on us this time. Oh, there's no need to be coy. What happened today was no accident, was it? We'd never have believed the reports unless we saw it in person. That's why such a dangerous box had no lid. Am I wrong?
There was no lid. That's not possible. That box was classified as risk level 3. It should have been securely fastened.
The young woman fell silent, then gasped and gave the maid walking silently behind her a look.
Kikuno.
The maid continued without the slightest sign of remorse and left her master behind. Both the men and the young woman sighed at once.
Us guys in public security have a reputation for being tough. But it seems like you guys are no slouches yourselves.
The summit that was meant to be a perfunctory refusal took an unexpected turn. Promises were made to continue the talks. 6 months passed. After many opportunities to show the actual samples of the dignitaries were set up and proposed, special units were established in mostly the form Kirijo requested. The security department, the Shadow Response Unit. It was the inauguration of the special unit that would be in time nicknamed the Shadow Operatives. Wow, okay, that's a fuck ton of lore. Okay, so after the conclusion of P3, Mitsuru founded the Shadow Operatives with the assistance of public security. Indeed, the Shadow Operatives. I'm quite fond of the name. Not that I normally pay much heed to these things, but in the case I admit to being pleased. It started as a sarcasm on the part of the higher-ranked personnel from the police. It could be taken to mean those who deal with shadows, but the real meaning is those who operate in the shadows. Not only is the unit unofficial, we have the difficult-to-credit job of exterminating monsters. Mostly I suspect it was a dig at the group that disturbed the expected peaceful years before the older personnel's retirement. But Shadow Operatives could also mean one who does unrewarded, albeit crucial work for society. It's a name truly befitting of the organization's goals. We're approaching the first anniversary of the Shadow Operatives establishment. Though we're still at a level of basic investigation and laying a groundwork, it seems a full-scale case has arisen.
Fighting is not our first option, but I'd be more reassured with you there.
This must be during the events of P4 they're investigating then.
We have a general idea of where it was taken, the Inaba area, where there were reports of suspected shadow activity last year.
Good as it is to hear from an old reliable friend, I limit the call to a quick exchange of information.
I'll send you the precise location later. Sorry to call when you've just returned from a trip, but I'm relying on your assistance.
I close my cell and turn towards my colleague.
He's only just returned and he's going directly to the location from the airport. Akihiko never changes.
The man I was on the phone with now was Akihiko Sanada. He's one of our non-permanent staff. Akihiko is an excellent Persona user, but beyond that, he's a skilled boxer. He's a friend of mine from high school who fought the shadows alongside me. I admire his strict determination to never neglect his training, but the extreme lengths he goes can be rather inconvenient. After entering college, he accepted my invitation to be one of the founding shadow operatives, but it was his actions afterward that went above and beyond. Sure, I'll join, but if I'm going to use my strength professionally, I want to get my skills to a level I'm happy with first. Thus began his training expedition. He's not only wandering the country, he's traveling the entire world. I can't decide whether to be dumbfounded or impressed by his dedication to train. All of this is to say that he only just returned to Japan to take part in this operation. I give a wry smile and lean back in my chair. Seeing me relax, the girl watching nearby smiles. This is Aigis, known for her blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. She's a sweet girl on the outside, but she has what it takes to be an important member of our squad.
Will we be able to find Labris? My sister?
Oh damn, got Aigis in a trench coat. When I look over to Aigis, her eyes are cast downwards with a worried expression.
Will we be able to save her? Isn't that what you really want to ask?
She must have known once I called Akihiko in as backup. There is a possibility that we will have to fight Labris, knowing that it's not a great leap to imagine that in the worst case scenario, she may have to be destroyed. And alas, it's true. If all else fails and our safety is at risk with no other way to stop her, that option is on the table. Still,
Don't worry. As I mentioned to Akihiko, fighting Labris is not our priority. The reason I formed this shadow operative team is to save lives. We will find her, whatever it takes, and bring her back. We can do this.
Yes. I'm sorry to be so pessimistic.
Those feelings you have for Labris, you should tell her when you see her.
she learned that from the MC, from me.
I will.
God, I love the P3 MC. I don't care. His personality was so good. The monitor is showing certain data under multiple redundant encryptions. Kirijo Ergonomics Research Lab Confidential Matters. There it is. In fact, a reason I'm reviewing these materials that are normally secured concealed. Because 2 days ago on May 1st, I was unexpectedly dragged into a serious incident. The passenger plane I was taking to Kagoshima was hijacked. There hasn't been a domestic hijacking for 10 years. Okay, interesting. So I feel like we're just reading Mitsuru's diary here because she's speaking in third person. The top brass of the police, afraid to make any mistakes, sent in the shadow operatives. The case itself was resolved quickly and all the culprits arrested. None of the passengers were harmed either. Yeah, this is the flight that Naoto was on too. The hijacker's true motive wasn't terrorism or political demands, as one would expect. I was surprised to find they were really after my cargo. It was a sealed box from the Ergonomics Research Lab. We were transporting it to Yakushima on that flight. No one thought that the risk hijacking could have been in pursuit in just cargo. As a result, one of the objects was stolen. The arrested suspects are all in police custody, but none of them have any memory of carrying out the crime. Someone was pulling the strings and probably using their uncommon methods. Considering that Puppet Master was targeting shadow-related cargo, I doubt they'll be easy to deal with. As for what was stolen, I just mentioned its name a moment ago. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labris, is an older model from 2 generations ago. Since shadow-related ergo research documents were lost in an accident, we know little about Labris. She is an android, most likely a female version, just like Aigis. But instead of a weapons loadout, she seems to have been fitted with some kind of experimental equipment. That's all we know. Still, thanks to our collaborator's quick wit, the escaping vehicle was traced with the N system. It wasn't easy, but we managed to pinpoint its location. It was headed for the city of Inaba, where they may have shadow activity last year. Once the preparations to depart are complete, I'll head there myself. My mind wanders a bit. Though I was unaware of them, the shadow of the sins committed in the Kirijo name is still so painful. 10 years on, there is something I want to avert my eyes. But now is not the time to be bounded by the past. Now is the time to act. I suddenly notice that Aigis has been staring at me worriedly. I give her a smile and stand up decisively. Okay. Skipping straight to Inaba. We're pulling up to Yasu Inaba, the central town of Inaba. It's the central town. The main streets seem nearly deserted and there's virtually no activity to see through the car windows. It was confirmed that the vehicle transporting Labrys was abandoned here. Our first move would be to confirm the situation. Or so I thought. I attempt to ignore the rude stares of people trying to get a look inside the car, focusing instead on the scent of my tea. People keep crowding around whenever we park. I had to move it a number of times already. We didn't get a moment's peace until the car had reached the junkyard on the outskirts of town. As I try to keep from sighing, Aiga speaks up from her seat in front of me.
Mitsuru-san, our activities are supposed to be undercover, correct?
Yep, that's why we brought the black limo.
Yes.
For undercover missions, it will be necessary to keep all personnel and vehicles from being noticed.
Right.
Mitsuru-san, may I say something that I've been meaning to say for a while now?
No.
Understood.
Her poker face is perfectly blank. Don't I understand what she's getting at. I've actually wanted to say something along those lines to the people around me for a while. Still, it would be galling to hear it from someone else right now.
All I told them was to give us a car with enough space.
Our contact has arrived.
The man approaching us is someone whose cooperation I specifically requested. Oh, wait, is it Doshima or Kurokawa? His name is Detective Kurosawa. Okay, it's him. Before I can welcome him, Aiga speaks up.
Oh my. This was not our designated meeting area, yet he has discovered us.
You want to know how I did it?
Wait. Oh, okay, this is happening. I was like, do I remember this scene? Oh yeah, this is when Naoto was in the car. I remember now. Lately it feels that whenever Aigus wants to voice her opinion to me, she intentionally puts on the robot act. They mentioned this at the lab. What if Aigus still speaks in that stiff formal manner? Either she's getting too human and is developing habits, or she's doing it on purpose. Honestly.
We appreciate your cooperation, Detective Kurosawa.
Long time no see, miss. And Aigis, was it?
Indeed. It has been a while.
Detective Kurosawa was an officer at the police box near the school we attended 3 years ago. Yeah, I know. This man used to sell me, like, legendary weapons and stuff I could never believe would be sold at a police station. Where'd you get that god hammer from, huh? Or that weird dog... Where'd you get the dog karambits from, too? Want to know. I want to go to that police shop. He was shunned for cooperating with us and got busted back down to the officer. Now that the shadow operatives are officially recognized, he's in their good graces again. A man who can be trusted beyond the confines of the station to solve a case, even going so far as to bend the rules. He's a rare breed. Detective Kurosawa's expression has softened while he makes a small talk with Aigus, which makes me realize that this may be the first time he's seen Aigus in her combat form.
I shouldn't make you stand while we talk. Please, get in.
Ah, sorry. I haven't seen you in a while, so I had a lot to say.
You must understand that we were trying to go incognito. Though it's kind of him not to point out that our vehicle and attire are completely unsuited to the goal as he enters the limousine. He sits and he does not even wait until the door is closed before getting to the point.
I found out quite a bit regarding the case you had me look into. First, I reviewed the report on the incidents from last year. One of the suspects mentioned the word persona.
So what went on here last year?
It's probably related, but I wasn't done there. Parts of this guy's testimony were even more outlandish.
This guy better not have got the testimony from a Mitsuru ass looking. The guy who was, if you remember, he's the guy that was mentally ill and tried confessing to Yukiko, and then he killed King Moron, and then he went into the TV, and yeah. By the way, that was a good side case, though.
If you can take what's in the record at face
case.
value, it seems Persona users can enter TVs within the Inaba region.
Enter TVs? What does that mean?
Just what it sounds like. You physically stick your body into the screen and go inside. He claimed there was another world in the TV, and dropping people inside it was the method behind last year's murders.
Oh shit, no, never mind. Kurosawa actually talked to Adachi. Damn. That's pretty cool.
This all sounds rather absurd. I'm surprised it was included in the police report.
Oh, or no, he got that report from Dojima. Could have been that, yeah.
I got in touch with the detective in charge at the time and said the same thing.
Yeah, it's Dojima.
Apparently the report was filed by a young partner of his at the time. He'd entertained the wildest testimonies like this one.
Oh, okay, that means Dojima must have visited Adachi, and Adachi gave his testimony to him.
He sounds like quite the oddball.
Yeah, but he was a good villain.
If this was what really went on, the police would have had no chance cracking it. But that Detective Dojima is one shrewd guy. Even with all the supernatural hocus pocus surrounding the case, he caught the culprit.
Nah, it was me. I had asked him to collect info about the serial murders that occurred in Inaba last year. The shadow operatives aren't public knowledge, so I thought the local police would be more willing to speak with him, but the results surpassed my expectations. Though it is slightly frustrating to already run up against something I'm powerless to achieve myself.
That's all I have for you right now. I should be going. I doubt either of us has time to reminisce over the old days. It's funny though. I thought the fighting was over, but you guys surprise me every time I see you.
Thank you very much, Officer Kurosawa. Why don't we at least see you off?
Oh, that's all right. I've got my own car. I doubt my department would appreciate your tastes. If I ever showed up for work in something like this, I'd be the talk of the force until the day I retired.
Detective Kurosawa jokes with us before exiting the limousine, waving casually back to us. I have nothing to say to that as I watched him leave, rotating his shoulders to work out some kinks. I just felt the need to comment.
Mitsuru-san, this could be bad. Our sense of social aptitude is in question.
Oh my god, I guess picked up on the femc's humor. That's her personality now.
Ugh, can't deny that.
What should we do now?
Yes. First, we'll need to test the claim that Persona users can enter TVs.
We are at a junkyard after all, and I can see a number of consumer electronics that have been discarded illegally. Aigis looks around and points at a certain pile as she gets out of the car.
There is a discarded TV over there. If the environment does not matter, we can use it to test the phenomenon.
Wait, Aigis.
Don't worry. I'm just going to touch it.
It's gonna be like Manus from Dark Souls. It's gonna grab her and pull her in. That's not what I was worried about. Aigis isn't wearing anything like a disguise, and... No, I'm overthinking this. We've already attracted enough attention. Even if we leave now, without doing anything, our pictures could still end up on the internet. Let them gossip about the strange people in funny clothes. It'll be some urban legend. My mind made up, I step outside wearing my special equipment. Yeah, kinda too late to worry about that. Once Aigis sees that I followed her, she gives a small nod and stretches her hand out towards the screen.
Amazing!
Her hand, it's inside the TV screen. But the screen itself seems undamaged. Aigis' hand is swallowed up to her wrist as if she put it in a bucket of water.
Interesting. It's exactly as the police report said. What's it like inside? Do you feel anything?
Not particularly. No. Wait a moment. It's the same as mine. It's hard to say definitively since this is my first encounter with it, but I believe this reading is from a personality module.
Does that mean our retrieval target is inside the TV?
Huh. Sounds like fun.
The voice from above. It sounds very familiar. But all I see is... Who invited the homeless man into the game? All I see in the direction from where it came is the man in an outlandish red cape. Like, you're not him. Like, what is that? Wearing a trash bag. I hesitated for a moment. Could it be?
Is that Akihiko?
The man leaps from the stacked tower of TVs like an acrobat.
You didn't show up at the rendezvous point, so I went looking and found you here. This whole TV thing is pretty interesting.
In spite of myself, I bury my face in my palm.
Akihiko, what on earth are you wearing? Just what were you doing overseas?
Well, didn't I tell you that I was on a training expedition?
Don't tell me you came here from the airport like that. Does the concept of keeping a low profile mean nothing to you?
Mitsuru, I don't want to hear that from you. You're wearing like a bodysuit underneath that that Chanel fur jacket, okay? Probably wearing Stacey Adams glass slippers too from Cinderella. I don't want to hear it. You all aren't low profile. In fact, I guess is probably the most normal one here.
Mitsuru-san, I believe we have lost the right to complain about that.
That's it. I'm never mentioning the subject of our appearance again.
Anyway, we can go inside from that TV, right? What are we waiting for?
Still the same Akihiko. We don't know the situation inside yet, and we'll need a secure means of getting out.
So what? If we want to get this Labrys back, someone has to go inside, right?
Well, that's...
Our target hijacked a plane to throw her into a TV in this town. If we sit on our hands, it's possible we'll be put in serious danger.
Yeah, it's just like when Fuka went inside Tartarus, right? It was like Akihiko was the first to be like, yeah, we gotta get in there now. Even if it's a risk, we gotta go in there now. That's why he's the best character. Akihiko's right. That's exactly why we've been trying to act as quickly as possible since this case began.
We're different from how we used to be. We made the choice to fight shadows as professionals. That's why I traveled around the world and trained harder than ever. And now that something's actually come up, you're hesitating? We agreed to do this. I'm ready to stake my life on the mission.
Recklessly unafraid to state his honest opinion. Classic Akihiko. You must understand that is his role. Certainly there are times where I need such opinions, and it's been a while since he went abroad. I think I can understand his current mindset.
All right. Wait right here. I need to go make a phone call first.
Okay, but make it quick.
He doesn't have to tell me twice. I take out my phone and bring it up to my contact list. A world inside a TV. I don't know what it might be like in there, but I do know someone that could help us. Oh, he's gonna call Fuka? I was originally going to ask for their help after Labrys was secure, but perhaps the time has come. Oh shit, we're about to call Fuka? Now I've taken all possible precautions. The rest is a test of our resolve. Idiots. Alright, skip that. We saw that already. Place a bookmark. What? We're ready? Only on scene 2? That's insane.
Where am I? Is this inside the TV?
No, you're in Tamriel. I remember being enveloped in a white light, but what came afterwards is unclear. Is this the world inside the TV? Oddly enough, the sight before me seems to be the main gate of a school. The name engraved at the entrance plate is...
Yasagami High School. I do recall that name from our map of Inaba. An existing high school has been completely recreated inside the TV?
Then came to a realization. I've encountered something much like this before. It doesn't appear to be much different from reality as far as appearances, but it has that same distinctive sticky atmosphere. The labyrinth of Tartarus, our battleground 3 years ago. There's a lot of similarity to this place.
Wait, where are the others? Akihiko! Aigis!
Being separated won't do anything to further our mission. Perhaps I can use my communication power to get in touch with them.
I can't reach them through my persona either. This place is highly unusual.
It's still barely functioning, but the noise here is severe. I'll need to understand this world a little better and find a quiet place to concentrate. As I check my surroundings again for enemies, I hear the sound of footsteps. I tense, getting myself ready. But when I turn around, a uniformed girl stops, looking at me in bewilderment. Uniform... Oh, it's Labrys.
Huh?
Oh, never mind, Yukiko. I didn't expect to meet someone else here, let alone a seemingly ordinary schoolgirl. Could her age and outfit be... Billy? Oh, I think that's definitely a typo. Could her age and outfit be a connection to the theft of Labrys? But once the girl's surprise faded, she seemed confused by my appearance. It seems that even in another dimension, people are startled by my attire. At least her reaction allayed my suspicions. Was Mitsuru self-conscious about her fashion? People reveal something of themselves when they're caught off guard. Anyone in the act of committing a crime couldn't fake being perplexed so naturally.
Did I surprise you? I suppose my outfit is somewhat unusual.
Oh, no.
Why are you here?
Well,
A loud cheer suddenly swells, cutting off our conversation. Judging by the sounds, I guess there's a crowd present here. I look around the area in confusion.
What? Where is that coming from?
Students appear one after another, clearly intrigued to see us here.
What's going on?
Before I can react, an image appears on the monitor buried beneath the bizarre decorations.
Hello! Hello! This is General Teddy, your benevolent dictator!
Oh, he stuttered just like me.
And I, Rosette, am your commentator. It's time for the next round in the P1 Grand Prix.
God, Laura Bailey's voice is so iconic.
Are you ready to fight?
P1 Grand Prix? Fight?
Yeah. Suddenly, on the one in this ridiculous costume's queue, smoke pours out around us. A spotlight shines from somewhere directly on me.
Ugh.
I instinctively raise my arm to shield my eyes from the harsh light. Feels like I'm being displayed for an audience.
And who do we have for Yuki-chan's opponent this time? Ooh! It's a mysterious, beautiful lady!
Ooh.
How unexpected!
Onyx XX Segs?
Teddy, what's wrong?
Do you know that bear?
The monitor showing the costume General Teddy suddenly fuzzles over the static. The static gets worse and worse, until an eerie, expressionless bear costume, one that looks as though it forgot how to make facial expressions, appears on screen. The voice is the same as before, but his tone is harsh and mechanical now.
Case 04, unintended intruder. Entering elimination process.
Yeah, that's Labrys.
What is that supposed to mean? Ugh. What's going on?
As soon as the abnormality registers, I feel a bizarre noise like something scratching against my whole body. Was that some kind of attack? It didn't seem to have any effect on me, but the girl standing beside me underwent quite a change.
You. Who do you think you are, showing up alone like this?
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, that kind of indirectly confirms it. So that means that Labrys does indeed have the power to alter people's minds, because Yukiko was actually normal back then, but now she's not.
It's no use trying to talk your way out of it. There's nothing to discuss. You don't even try to understand anyone anyway. If you want to wall yourself off from everyone, I'll be happy to end your lonely life here.
The girl's face distorts with hatred as she spits her words at me. It's a far cry from her earlier demeanor. It's as if she's a completely different person. And that's not all. Understandably, she seems to know me before, but now she speaks as if she does. What is this? Could it be the effect of the noise I sensed?
You won't be so smug for long. Come, Konohana Sakuya!
A persona?
The girl spreads the fan in her hand when with a flash of light, a persona manifests. How careless of me. I should have accounted for this possibility as soon as I saw her here in this world.
We won't be settling this peacefully, I see. In which case...
I ready my evoker and concentrate.
To me, Artemisia.
That's pretty cool though. Evokers work in the TV world. Power rises from within me and the sensation in my limbs tell me that my persona has emerged. But my hand holding the evoker is still at my side. My persona, did it just appear without the use of my evoker to trigger it? Did I summon it only by thinking? Oh, interesting. Theoretically, one doesn't need an evoker to summon one's persona. I didn't have one the day my persona first manifested, and I've done without one several other times as well. But never before have I summoned it so easily and without any special condition. It's as if my consciousness is reaching far beyond the boundaries of my body. By way of analogy, I feel like being able to control the wind with my fingertips. Could it be because of this world is special? The girl's voice brings me back to the situation at hand. Which reminds me, the girl doesn't seem to use any special implements to summon either.
A persona user. Fine. I still won't lose.
Sorry, but I won't be defeated either.
Yeah, the summoning techniques are different for the P4 cast. Like, Yu crushes the card, I think Chie kicks it, Yukiko like fans it, Yosuke does like a backflip. Yosuke's so extra, man. Yosuke wears headphones in battle. That's dope. Alright, let's do it, finally. Okay. And now back. Let's try a skill. Okay. Damn, holy crap, Mitsuru does damage. That is crazy. Okay, so I hit her with a light combo, then I follow up with ice skill quickly, and then after I knock her with the persona ability, I then follow up with an all-out attack. I knock her up. Holy shit, that does half her HP. That is crazy. Alright. Once the battle ends, the monitor nearby switches on.
An irregularity has occurred. Multiple intruders detected. Emergency. Intruders are persona users. Due to difficulties in elimination, they will be acknowledged as valid targets.
Right, because we weren't in the original advertisement either. We're not in the P1 Grand Prix. He obviously refers to myself and the others. Does it mean that he's going to adjust the tactics for dealing with us due to how much of a threat we are? The way he said that seems like a bad omen.
Valid targets.
I understand that we're considered to be intruders, but what did he mean by that? Seems we're part of the tournament now, but what was the enemy's original plan? The monitor screen fuzzes again, and once more it shows the costumed person as he originally appeared.
Jeez, you need to let me know if you want to get in on the fun. But this is a unique situation, and you're one hot mama, so I'll make an exception. Just keep putting on a good show in your next bout, too.
Who are you? Why don't you take off that strange costume and show your face?
Hey now, I don't think a lady walking around in a cat suit like yours can talk to me about my bear suit.
Damn.
Enough with the questions. Move on.
Again, yet another person hung up on my outfit. Unlike me to let my enemy's words get under my skin. The monitor switches off with those cheeky words.
Is that costume thing the one who stole Labrys? If so, then what's the purpose of this bizarre tournament? Fine. I'll get a read on your location.
I quickly link my communicator and persona. Some personas are more suited to operational support than direct combat. In my case though, the power is secondary. I normally have a persona user who specializes in that role, but with some specialized equipment I can get by. I focus my consciousness and send it drifting through the surrounding area. The enemy must think he's keeping an eye on us, but he'll learn soon enough that he's not the only one with a bird's eye view on the situation. Before the layout of this place becomes clear, an unexpected change occurs around me. The moment I use my power, noise runs through the students that have been spectating. In an instant, they turn into something like silhouettes that barely have human shapes. It seems their true colors have been exposed. Are they not human?
What? Were they shadows? If they were, I don't sense any hostility from them. Were they just set dressing that thing in the costume prepared?
The cheering crowd would lead one to believe that there is a large number of people inside the TV, but that doesn't seem to be the case, which leaves it a mystery and maybe best to consider it a blessing.
In any case, it appears that apart from this girl here, none of those students were real.
The girl who had collapsed on the floor is coming around. I release my persona and rush over to help her up. I wasn't fighting to my fullest, so she shouldn't be suffering from any real wounds. There are many mysteries surrounding this girl. She seemed to be more than just an associate of one in the bear costume. The moment the girl sees me, she jumps back like a startled animal. Her speech is flustered, her face a bright blushing red. There are tears in her eyes.
How come you knew about that?
About what?
That was private. I never even told anyone at the inn about that. I can't believe someone I've never even met before knew.
Oh my gosh, what is it, Yukiko? The Amagi challenge? The girl covers her reddened face in shame. I try to think back to what I said to her. Did I point out anything that would cause such a reaction? One detail jumps out at me. When the girl's manner of speech shifted before our battle, it wasn't just her personality that abruptly changed. Though we had just met, she talked as if she knew more than she should about my past.
That reminds me. That noise I sensed earlier is gone.
Yet the girl before me now no longer bears any of that senseless animosity from before.
It seems to have been some kind of interference from the enemy. Come to think of it, that bear was egging us on. The interference must have been to ensure two total strangers would fight. General Teddy, was it? He looked comical enough, but he certainly put an elaborate scheme in motion.
No, No! How could Teddy...
She seemed to have finally calmed down and continues muttering with a perplexed expression.
You know the one in costume, I take it?
Oh, I know him very well. He's usually not like this at all.
I take the girl's hand and again help her to her feet.
I'm Mitsuru Kirijo. I've come here in search of a unique object. Why don't we start over? If you don't mind, I'd like to hear a little about yourself.
Yes. Oh, my name's Yukiko Amagi. I'm sorry for losing my composure just now.
So, Amagi, why did you come to this world?
Where to start? So many strange things happened over the last year.
At first glance, she looks like an ordinary student, so why is she here inside the TV? Amagi briefly summarized her recent past to me in an even tone of voice. According to her, this world was prominent in a serial murder case last year. She and her friends awakened to their personas while investigating the case and eventually solved it. This world is formed by people's thoughts, and at the case's conclusion, it returned to its original state. None of this contradicts what I've learned from Detective Kurosawa.
A realm inside a TV, formed by people's thoughts.
Damn, okay, Yukiko just bombshelled the entire P4 plot to Mitsuru.
It sounds absurd, but that would explain the incongruity I sensed when I used my persona.
We thought the case had been solved, but lately there's been another strange program on the air. My friends and I couldn't ignore that, so we came back here.
Your friends? Are there others here besides yourself?
Yes, I was with 3 other people, but we got separated when we entered. The one in costume and the girl who called herself Rosette are friends of ours too, but they're acting so strangely.
So this is not the way they generally behave then?
I could tell from Amagi's reactions that normally she trusts those two implicitly. Considering what the enemy did to her earlier, could they be under the same control? By the way, it sheds no light on the theft of Labris. How are they related? Or is this incident only a coincidence?
There's one more thing I'm curious about. Have you ever heard the name Labris?
Labris? No, I don't think I've ever heard of that before. What is it?
It's the thing I'm searching for. What makes it problematic is that I know nothing of its appearance. Honestly, I'm not sure it has anything to do with this disturbance, though I can't write it off completely as irrelevant.
Though it appears that there is no connection, whoever went so far as to hijack a plane to steal Labris brought her all the way here. No matter how I look at it, that means something...
Anyway, thank you for your cooperation. I understand the situation better now. We should stay together going forward.
Nuh-uh.
Whoa, think again, ladies!
General Teddy suddenly appears on the screen to interrupt our conversation.
Only the winner of each bout can go on. That's rule number 1 in the Grand Prix.
How exactly can that rule be enforced? As if to answer my unspoken question, Amagi made an odd gesture.
Huh? There's nothing here, but I can feel something. A wall, maybe? Wait, but Mitsuru-san could...
Amagi looks at me expectingly. I take a tentative step and walk through the place where she claims there is a wall.
Like I said, you're stuck there until the tournament's over. Only winners get to go. Come on, miss. You won. So it's time to barrel forward to the next stage.
I must leave the girl alone in this strange world then. Though I'm uneasy about doing so, Amagi seems to read my thoughts and smiles.
Thank you, but I'll be all right. I fought shadows for an entire year too. I can protect myself.
I see. In that case, I'll press on and do my best to rescue your friends.
If you see them, please tell them I'm all right and they shouldn't worry about me. You be careful too, Mitsuru-san.
Amagi smiles resolutely. She's a very strong girl.
All right, I'll pass that along.
I nod, acknowledging her wishes, and turn my back to walk away.
Not only do they tamper with our minds, they prevent us from leaving until the tournament is settled. It may not necessarily ruin friendships, but there's no way forward than to fight one another. What a loathsome trick. It seems the mastermind is intent on us fighting each other.
I grit my teeth in anger. Amagi's clear eyes remain in my heart. The operation is no longer just to retrieve Labris. I make a silent vow as I go. Everyone who has been dragged into this must be rescued. Yeah, you say that. Meanwhile, Akihiko be knocking out opponents left and right. He's like, I want to get stronger. You're all dead. As I step into the school, I realize that these invisible walls are everywhere, blocking off routes that seem open to the naked eye. Why is the thief who stole Labris gathering persona users in this world? Not having a clear idea of their motivations is compounding my anxiety. Agus and Akihiko may have been dragged into this Grand Prix as well. If so, we need to compare notes. If all goes well, we may figure out the location of the mastermind behind this that I failed to grasp earlier. After quickly confirming that there are no shadows nearby, I link my communicator with my persona. I focus my consciousness and set it drifting through the surrounding areas.
Hurts. So lonely.
Oh, that's Labrys.
What was that?
The presence is faint and I can't tell where it is, yet I can definitely hear a voice. It seems I could sense it because of my secondary support capabilities, but when I focus harder, it doesn't seem that they're trying to communicate with me. It's more like the words and the intense emotions behind them are seeping out of the room itself, perhaps even from all around me. Eventually, the voice becomes clearer.
I'm scared. I'm alone. It hurts. Why? Why won't anyone listen?
I don't recognize the voice. Perhaps one of Amagi's friends.
I didn't ask to be born a machine. How come no one understands? What's the difference between normal people's hearts and mine?
A machine? Is that Labrys?
I stand up and try calling to her.
Labrys! Are you nearby? Answer me!
But there is no answer. Seems that it's not because the voice owner is nearby that I can hear her. It is subtly different from hearing voices with one's own ears, it's true. I focus my senses once again, but I still can't tell exactly where it's coming from. Not yet having a thorough command of the layout here makes it harder to pinpoint. Eventually the voice fades, only silence remains.
Going by what she said, that had to have been Labrys. Sounds as if her heart has developed further than we thought.
Even I guess the latest model required a lot of time and experience to develop the heart she has. So then why does Labrys, who has been sealed away from her development up to now, have such an advanced heart?
I didn't ask to be born a machine. It pains me to hear that.
The anti-shadow suppression weapons, or both Aigis and Labrys, were created as insurance for dangerous shadow experimentations in case the subject should go berserk. The only thing that can stand up against a shadow is a persona, and being able to control one is an absolute necessity when dealing with shadows. Thus, they were given hearts in order to induce their ability to use personas. But a weapon that has a heart contradicts itself. It was natural for Aigis to face that contradiction, and it caused her serious anguish in the past.
We can't allow victims like her to be tormented by sins of the past, whether they're human or not.
Newly resolved, I pressed on. Okay, no invisible walls for Mitsuru. I continued through the school, still unable to contact Aigis or Akihiko. The invisible wall seemed to be leading me towards the gym. Compared to the one back at Gekkoukan High, this one is rather modest, but the chairs stacked the unusual heights and the monitors everywhere giving it an eerie air. The monitors are switching on again. This time it's not showing General Teddy. How strange, this appears to be a commercial for a fighting event.
What in the...
A succession of young men and women are introduced as participants. One of them I recognize as Amagi.
They're wearing the same uniforms as Amagi. I assume these are the friends she spoke of.
All of them are introduced with horrible epithets, but the Amagi I met in person was a completely different, sophisticated girl. I suppose the enemy made up all these taglines. Just as Amagi's introduction ends, the video suddenly turns off and General Teddy's face appears on screen. I like how they didn't show it this time, they just described it.
I had to completely rejigger the bracket to accommodate 3 new contestants. Sheesh.
3 new contestants. Myself, Akihiko, and Aigis?
On the other paw, a tournament's more exciting with more people in it. But getting back on track, allow me to introduce your next opponent.
When I enter, someone who had already been there turns around. His face, it was on the video a moment ago. It's Kanji, right?
Huh? There's people besides us here?
Never mind, Yosuke.
You're...
Holy crap, she's smoking hot. The thing she's wearing doesn't hurt either.
You were in that video just now. What was it they called you? Captain Ressentiment?
How come you remember that stupid title and not my real name? Figures I meet a knockout like this and she already knows about that. God, I wish I was dead.
I feel like this is the real Yosuke now. Apparently the epithets from the video hit a sore point with the people featured. The nickname left more of an impression than his real name, so it just slipped out. At that moment, General Teddy appears again on one of the larger monitors inside the gym.
How How do you like your opponent?
Why are you making us fight? What benefit do you derive from this nonsense?
So many questions. I just want you all to suffer. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that fun?
That's what this is about? No. If Labrys is involved, there's more to it, isn't there?
Enough jibba jabba. Hurry and start the fight. Look at your opponent. He's ready, see?
As the general smirks, a wave of discomfort washes over me. It's the same as that time with Amagi. As I glared at the monitor, thinking that more interference is at work here, I hear unexpectedly bitter words.
Yeah, Teddy's right. I mean, you're the one who barged in here. Man, who'd come to such a dangerous place without hesitating? You really are an ice queen. I bet you don't have many friends, huh?
It's happening again. The moment that noise kicks in, not only does my opponent personality change, they begin speaking of things they shouldn't know about. It's exactly like what happened with Amagi.
You talk as if you know me.
Stop acting so calm and changing the subject. You seem like you don't know much about this world. So how do you plan to get out? Don't tell me you rushed in here with no escape plan. Oh man, seriously? You're nuts. People like you who obsess over responsibility and put all the burden on yourselves, you annoy the hell out of me.
It doesn't matter how others perceive me.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Isn't that because you don't trust anyone?
We clearly can't have a normal conversation with the enemy interference, but even knowing that, I can't catch myself trying to argue the point. The heavy responsibility I suffer is mine alone. If I share it with someone, that means this suffering will also be shared. That is why I try to be self-sufficient. The more I care about someone, the less I'm willing to rely on them. But isn't that no better than not believing in them? I've been caught in that trap before. Maybe I still haven't truly escaped it. But how could he guess that my private distress is one that I've barely confided to others before?
I was supposedly an unexpected intruder. What's going on?
What are you mumbling about? Well, let me ease your mind. I'll end everything for you. Let's do this, Jiraiya!
Here we go.
Go, Yosuke-senpai! Beat up that shady lady! Let the fight begin!
I can see there'll be no talking sense with him like this. There's nothing for it then. Artemisia!
Man, we need a game like this, but with Akechi. Rest in peace, Akechi. I'll remember you forever. Alright, let's do it. What? There's only a 3-year difference between her and...
Finally!
She looks so much older. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, good hit.
I'm coming for you!
Bam. Okay.
Still up!
Artemisia! Go! Artemisia!
There it is.
How unfortunate. Better luck next time.
The Imperious Queen of Executions. That's Mitsuru's title, I get it. Because she's an executioner. Just like at the hot springs.
You're so useless, Yosuke-senpai. Unfortunately, the party crasher wins.
That's me. The girl on the PA system is rather casual with her insults. Soon after General Teddy appears on the monitor.
You're so strong, miss. I can barely believe how gorgeous and powerful you are.
It seems they're not provoking us only to have us fight one another. And their method. Is it more like an illusion they're casting over us, rather than some sort of mind control?
Still trying to figure everything out? Switch your brain off and enjoy the Grand Prix already.
Sorry, but I'm not some savage who enjoys the suffering of others. And don't call me Miss. My name is Mitsuru Kirijo.
Kirijo?
You've toyed with us, and I don't take that lightly. I'll make you pay for what you've done. You better be prepared for that.
Kirijo.
The moment he hears my voice, the face on the bear costume distorts with a mask of hate.
You're the one who should be prepared. I'll never let you stop me.
The broadcast ends after he flings those words at me.
I mentioned my name on purpose. He reacted as strongly to the name Kirijo as I thought he would.
I still don't know anything for certain, but I'm increasingly sure that General Teddy is related to the circumstances surrounding Labrys.
At first, I thought I'd stumbled into an irrelevant side incident, but evidently not. We were meant to come here.
Just then, the young man behind me slowly gets to his feet.
Ow!
Ah, you're awake.
It seems now that the battle is settled and the interference causing us both to seems to have vanished. Hanamura cringes away frightened. I can't help but shrug.
My. Amagi reacted the same way. Were the things that the illusory me said that harsh?
Oh, you bet. Wait, what? Illusory? And did you just say Amagi? You meant Yukiko?
Yes, before I came here. I was forced to fight her, quite against my will.
I explained the situation to him. I also add that she shared info with me on last year's case. That should help prove that I did encounter Amagi. Just on the off chance, I asked Hanamura about Labrys, but he seems not to even know the name. Once we finish speaking, he stands up and places his hand on the air as if touching something.
Only the winner can move on, huh? I'm the only one who can feel this invisible wall thing, so I guess it's true.
I'm glad you understand. I was worried you'd doubt me since I'm a complete stranger.
Well, you didn't seem like someone who'd try and trick me. I mean, what's the point? I've lost now, so I can't go anywhere.
Indeed. You're very pragmatic.
The young man waves away my compliment.
Nah, after what I went through last year, I just got used to coming smack up against insane stuff in this world. And Yukiko, my friend you met, she believed in you. So I don't mind trusting you too.
I see.
I can't help myself from smiling. Their bond seems to be real. I do somewhat envy the way they trust each other without a doubt. That could never have happened unless they had overcome the same trials together.
I'd like your opinion on something. What do you think is the objective of this tournament? That General Teddy said it was all in fun, but I doubt it's anything so simple.
I've been wondering the same thing, but I don't know. But you know, it might not just be Teddy behind it. I met this weird girl earlier.
A weird girl?
She was about my age, and she said she was the student council president.
Okay, so Yosuke did meet her, but he doesn't know that she's Labrys. That's why.
It's like she had no idea that she was inside the TV world. That doesn't seem very likely, does it?
No, I doubt one could be unaware of such things. It's possible that she didn't come here of her own will.
This may be a school now, but it doesn't always look like this. When normal people who don't have personas come in here, the world changes to reflect what they're thinking of. It happened every time a victim was dumped into a TV last year. Maybe this time she's the victim. Even if she means well, she still could have a lot to do with the tournament.
Girl, huh?
Judging from the state of affairs, I'm beginning to think that the girl in question is Labrys. Since Hanamura doesn't know the details of my mission, it wouldn't occur to him what I'm searching for is a humanoid weapon with a heart.
What did this girl look like? Did anything about her stand out?
Huh? No, not really. She wore the same uniform as the rest of us.
A uniform?
Considering how Aigis looks, it's possible that Labrys' appearance is quite close to human. But what does it mean that she's completely able to pass as a human? Even Aigis has to wear clothes that cover her entire body in order for her to walk around town. Yet Labrys even wears the same uniform as them. Chalk it up to another unsolvable mystery, I suppose. But after talking with Hanamura, it does feel like I'm starting to understand the bigger picture here.
I see. Thank you. I'm getting a clearer picture of what's going on. I'm sorry, but I can't stay and chat. I should be leaving now.
Oh, wait a sec. Can I ask you a favor? Can you look after my other friends too? It sucks, but I can't get to them from here. That Teddy's really not a bad guy either. Sure, he eats my ice cream without asking and stuff, but he's not the type of guy who'd get off on watching people hurt each other. There's gotta be some other explanation.
Don't worry. I was already thinking along similar lines. What we saw was an illusion. It may be that they're faced with the same situation. I'll save everyone who's been dragged into this, including your friends, and this student council president.
Thanks. Just hurry before someone else dies in here.
Hanamura's expression, which has previously been bright, albeit desperate, darkens noticeably. From all I've heard, last year's shadow incident revolved around serial murders. Maybe that he lost someone as well. To fight so desperately but lack the power to make a difference, being forcibly parted from loved ones. I understand that pain all too well.
I must sound pretty lame, losing the fight and then making a lot of demands.
Not so. Your concern for your friends in a situation like this. C'est magnifique.
Ooh. Francais.
What?
I sensed it when speaking to Amagi too. but you all seem to have very strong wills. I promise to do what I can to help.
The emotion he seems to view as a weakness are actually his strengths. I'm sure that with a little more experience he'll come to realize that too. He'll see how difficult it is to hold on to that will and how valuable it is to have friends he can share it with. Since I am the one who will be moving on, I'm responsible for the duties he entrusted to me. As if sensing my determination, Hanamura's expression turns serious and nods. Cool interaction. When real meets real. Oh god, Yosuke's such a good character though. Honestly, I would say Yosuke's still the best character, best Persona character when it comes to high schooler depiction. Just awkward, but genuine. After parting with Hanamura, I once again proceed through the school. The invisible walls continue to bar my path. Undoubtedly, the enemy is leading me exactly where he wants me.
Is there no end to this?
The rules of the P1 Grand Prix are powerfully enforced. I try to see if I could destroy one of these walls, but it doesn't seem as though I can. Maybe if I use all my strength, but even if I do, I'll be locked into a fight if I happen to run into anyone. Either way, it didn't seem worth the trouble. I stray from the suggested route on purpose and open one of the classroom doors. I sense no enemies, and it doesn't look like I'll run into my next opponent here either. It should be safe. Once again, I link my communicator with my persona. This time, unlike before, my senses cleanly and smoothly spread outward. I sense one, no, two familiar signals. It's going to be Teddy and Labris.
Akihiko and Aigis.
Oh, never mind.
They both seem to be okay.
First, I focus my senses to contact Aigis, who's closer by.
Can you hear me, Aigis?
Mitsuru-san, I am relieved to finally hear from you. Is Akihiko-san with you?
No, we were separated, but I've confirmed his safety. I'm sure he won't be defeated that easily.
Aigis laughs upon hearing my words.
Let's exchange information while we can.
I give her a simple outline on the current situation. I mention the students that were drawn here. My suspicions that this Grand Prix mastermind is almost certainly related to Labris, and what I've heard of a girl who I'm assuming to be Labris.
I saw that girl a moment ago, though I lost sight of her when the invisible walls blocked my path.
I've been told she looks more human than you. Is that possible?
Not only that, she was almost indistinguishable from a normal person. I couldn't believe it either, yet I definitely sensed a personality module. I don't believe there's any mistake that she is Labris.
I see.
There's no doubt that General Teddy has strong ties to Labris in the Kirijo group, but this girl whom we believe to be Labris is apparently walking around unconstrained. If we can set up this many walls, it should be easy for him to capture her too.
Don't worry about meeting up for now. Under the present conditions, we'd only end up fighting amongst ourselves.
Understood.
I don't know how Labris ties into this situation yet, but be careful. Hello? I lost her.
Aigis' voice trails off as my connection to her dies out again. I wonder if the enemy noticed our convo and took preventative measures. Though the voice I'm hearing now definitely isn't General Teddy's.
Hey there! Some other way! If there was, then...
That's the same voice from before. Labris, is that you?
It's happening again. The voice reaches me throughout my persona ability, but I have the strangest sensation about it. I get the impression that the voice is seeping out of this place itself.
Why are you laughing? What about this is funny?
Who is she addressing?
I don't want to fight him anymore!
That reminds me. Hanamura said that the environments here are formed by the thoughts of those who enter this world. Could these be Labris's innermost thoughts? Is that why everything about this place radiates her feelings?
I mean, that's the one thing we don't know, right? Why does Labris think she's a student council president when her past is, like, even more darker, where she had to kill all of her robot siblings, I guess, to survive? It doesn't really have anything to do with the school setting, so... Unless she's coping, and that's why. I guess we won't find that out till late game.
What do you think we are?
For a moment, I experienced not just the voice, but a powerful wave of emotions. They bombard me through my persona senses. Strong sadness, confusion, despair. Did someone say despair? I can't help but fall to my knees, though nothing is assaulting me directly. How can I describe this weight? One possible explanation crosses my mind.
She's not addressing anyone. These are her memories. I see. So that's what's going on.
I think back to what General Teddy says, that making people suffer is fun. I dismissed it as a barbaric desire not worth thinking about too deeply. But in truth, what kind of horrors would someone have to go through to emerge with such a stunted perspective?
I'm finally beginning to see the relationship between this tournament and Labrys.
In any case, I must proceed on to learn anything. I redouble my resolve and begin walking away. Wow, no one actually did attack Mitsuru in that classroom. What do you know? Never mind, the monitor suddenly turns on, showing a smirking General Teddy.
What are you getting so sentimental for? The Grand Prix's not over yet!
God damn it.
Then you intend to continue this meaningless farce.
I'll decide what's meaningless or not! Bring out the next challenger!
Please be you. As soon as the general shouts, smoke gushes out, obstructing my view. Seems he isn't willing to reason at all, not that I expect otherwise. Who will I be forced to fight this time? I strain my eyes. It looks like it's...
You!
Naoto. I remember that face. Naoto Shirogane. He was present as a police observer when Labrys was being transported to Yakushima. Oh, that's insane. So the Cease members actually think that Naoto is a guy. It was thanks to his quick thinking that we discovered Labrys had been taken to Inaba. If our trip hadn't been disrupted by the hijacking, he probably would have been with us in Yakushima. But why is he here?
This is a problem. I didn't think we'd run into each other so soon. Is this another illusion? No. I can see that it isn't. Why are you here?
I'll answer that question later. It would be best to say as little as possible for now.
With that, the young man lifts a finger to his lips in a gesture to remain silent. Directly afterwards, that statically sensation runs throughout my body. Then I understand what he meant. Once again, this noise will prevent us from understanding each other properly. He's probably also noticed the effects at work. Nothing we say right now could be called conversing. If we both understand that, neither of us needs to take what the other says personally. That's why he called for a temporary silence. It's an amazing assessment given the brief time in which he had to make it. I like it, because they both understand how this works. It's like two self-aware people just don't talk. There, can't insult. Before long, as expected, the young man before me undergoes a complete attitude reversal.
Seriously, such impatience handling the grunt work yourself like this. Isn't micromanaging like this the style of an incompetent leader? One who can't see the bigger picture?
This isn't how he truly feels. I say nothing.
The silent treatment, huh? That's fine. I understand perfectly. You don't believe in people. Not a single one. You have friends and allies, but believing in them is a different thing. I suspect you'll never break down that wall. Shall I say it for you? You're actually scared to. The notion of growing attached to something and losing it scares you so much that you'll share nothing truly important to you. Even if you want to believe in your friends, you can't.
That's not true.
After the words slip from my mouth, I realize that the argument is futile.
Of course it is. Why not simply admit it? In truth, you have your hands full just expiating your family's sins. You don't need the added burden of others placing their lives in your hands. Isn't that how you really feel?
No.
The young man smirks as if ridiculing my inabilities to stop myself from responding to his allegations, despite knowing the futility of doing so. But the smirk only helps me to regain my composure. The real Shirogane would never make that face. This is only an illusion.
There's no use continuing this. Not until I eliminate this irritating mirage.
That's right. Time to put him in the ground. God, Mitsuru is so fun to play. Her range is absurd, though. No wonder I had a hard time dealing with her in combat.
Final.
Alright, let's do this.
Fight.
Oh, okay. Oh, I should grab more. That's what I haven't been doing with Mitsuru. I was like, I think I've done everything. All out. I've done all-out light combos, I've done some SP combos too, I use my persona abilities. I haven't grabbed though. I need to learn to grab more. I turn towards the monitor on the assumption that General Teddy will appear to mock us. But for some reason at the time, he didn't. I'm not sure why, but it at least allows us time to calmly talk things over. I look towards the young man once again.
Am I getting through to you now?
Yes. The same goes for me, I presume. It seems we were spellbound until the fight began, as we both suspected. They disrupted our communications to drive a wedge between us and make us fight, though it's a mystery to me as to where it draws such personal slights for the illusions before us.
I agree.
He seems to bear no animosity and is willing to discuss things, but to be honest, I'm not sure where we stand. Why is he here? I can think of several possible explanations, but if he secretly followed us in, his canniness may prove dangerous. He gives a sudden wry smile as if sensing my reluctancy and trying to assuage it. Assuage?
There's no need to be cagey. I don't intend to dodge whatever questions you have. You were probably wondering 3 things when you saw me here. First, how did I enter this world? Second, what am I doing in Inaba? And third, if I came here looking for you, what are my true intentions?
No wonder you've made a name for yourself as a detective. You're correct on all counts.
The first answer is easy. You know now that I can use a persona, allowing me access to the TV world. As for the second, there's no great mystery why I would come to Inaba. I live here.
You wouldn't happen to be acquainted with Amagi and Hanamura?
You've met my senpai?
Your friends. I gather that you're comrades who fought alongside each other during the serial murder case last year. I assume you entered the TV together for the same reason they did, and found yourself dragged into this mess as well.
Whatever doubts I may have about them, it seems they're here because we dragged them into this. I'm not very comfortable with that.
If so, I must apologize to you. No doubt you already know, but the object we seek has been brought to this world. It's most likely the cause of this disturbance. Whoever learned of this world's existence must have thought it would be useful in whatever they're scheming.
You apologizing to me?
Shirogane shrugs with a wry smile.
Are you so sure you can trust me? You have no guarantee that I'm telling the truth. And there's still the answer to your third question to consider. I haven't yet told you my true motives.
Fair enough. But if you're friends with Amagi and Hanamura, I feel I can trust you. Their bonds with their friends are real.
Perhaps I lied about that too.
But then why would you bring it up? No, you're no villain. That's what my intuition tells me.
You aren't at all the person I thought you'd be.
I'll take that as a compliment.
His smile suggests that it was meant as one. Makes him look his age, or even younger. I can't help but smile as well. He's not exactly the hardened detective I imagine him to be either.
The Teddy who appeared on that monitor is not our friend. He's an imposter.
You have proof of this?
I found the real Teddy. Our enemy can fog both our eyes and ears. It's possible they can make themselves look like someone else.
I see.
But I still don't know why they chose to take on Teddy's appearance.
Upon hearing this, I sigh and close my eyes.
It might be to make you all suffer. If they led you to believe your friend betrayed you, it would make this all the more painful.
There's some truth to that, but it seems too simple a motive to warrant this elaborate of a disturbance.
He's wrong. If the motives have somehow connected to Labrys' memories, what had been incomprehensible becomes completely understandable. My conclusion must have shown through my face since Shirogane trails off in understanding. At that moment came something like a touch. It's a sensation I hadn't felt since entering this world, but I know this feeling. It's the effect of being brushed over Persona's informational support powers. Oh, it's Rise.
This feeling. Rise-san! Rise-san, can you hear me?
Naoto-kun? So you ended up here too!
That voice that echoes is much like the voice I heard over the PA system, but it seems quite different. The announcement must have been part of this culprit's tricks. Rise's voice immediately turns query.
I'm so glad. Ever since this weird fake Teddy kidnapped me, I've been all alone. The others are fighting each other too.
Rise's been captured, what, 8 times now?
It's all right. Just calm down and tell me where you are.
I think it's the announcement room. It's kind of off, though. There are these invisible walls around and I can't get out. The fake Teddy was watching me until a moment ago, so I couldn't use my persona.
She seems to have been under the General's close watch, limiting her chances to use her persona until now. As soon as the General stepped out for a moment, she seized the opportunity to contact Shirogane.
You're in the announcement room now, yes? I'm headed straight there, so stay put.
Huh? Who's that? Why can I hear your voice but not sense you?
She sounds extremely confused. I had temporarily forgotten that my equipment prevents me from being detected by persona abilities to an extent. I prepped it after facing an enemy with similar powers once before. Who? The heart? Was it in the hotel? Oh no, it was the Strength and Hanged Man Arcana. It was that flippin' Wheel of Fortune guy, I remember. God, I hated that fight. That fight was cancer. Worked by making my presence difficult to detect unless they know me well or recognize my signature. Shirogane senses her confusion as well and introduces me to her. His introduction is accurate yet concise. I can see he's a first-rate detective.
Mitsuru Kirijo. Wait, Kirijo? Are you that Kirijo?
Yes, that's correct.
The CEO?
Not quite. I am the founding family's...
You hired me for a commercial before.
Oh my god.
Thank you very much for your patronage.
Look at Rise. She's literally a hostage right now, but she's plugging her name. Young people these days.
A commercial?
Oh yes! I'm Rise Kujikawa. I'm a classmate of the others you met, but I'm also kind of a starlet and, it's hard to explain.
Rise-san, that can wait. There's no knowing when our adversary will return.
Oh, all right.
Kujikawa said that she was captured, but why would they treat her differently?
I suspect it was to block communication. If we could speak freely as we just did, their whole scheme would collapse. Ah, so that's why Teddy and Rise-san were the hosts.
What do you mean?
The real Teddy has a similar power. That's why those two were taken separately. Not only that, but by acting as the two who had disappeared, the enemy thought it could portray them as traitors. Though it appears that Teddy managed to escape on his own somehow.
How come I'm the only one fake Teddy is watching over personally? Sheesh.
Yeah, well, the real Teddy got stuck in a flippin' locker, alright? So it's only because he can bend his body that he got out.
You have the most powerful investigative persona. They must have had to take greater pains with you.
I think we're keeping this going too long. We've exchanged what we know already, so I'm gonna shut down the comms link. Be careful, you guys.
I face Shirogane once again.
We are responsible for this case. Rescuing the ones who've been dragged into it is part of our mission. Besides, she's another of your friends, isn't she? All the more reason for me to go save her.
He makes a small gesture as if searching for the right words. After taking some time to make up his mind, he looks me in the eye once more.
You're quite prepared for this. It would be unfair of me not to tell you everything. Please hear me out. The reason I came here was to...
You're a real straight arrow.
I cut him off intentionally.
You're very proud to be a detective, no? I can see it in your eyes. You would never sell out your beloved justice. If you've done nothing to be ashamed of, that makes us even. I haven't been entirely forthright with you either.
Kirijo-san. It seems I still have much to learn.
Despite what I said, I can make an educated guess as to his motives. He's a persona user. That means the police selected their observer as someone with the potential. If his only task was to watch over the transfer, there'd be no need to send a persona user. Then leading me to believe he's been asked to secretly spy on me or my organization. We have nothing to hide anymore. There are many things that shouldn't be made public, but I'm sure his judgment is sound.
Well then,
Judgment.
I will once again entrust my friend's safety and the resolution of this case to you.
Yagami, where are you?
In honor of the bond we are forming, Mitsuru Kirijo.
I promise that I will not let you down.
I smile back at him and move on without looking back. I know that there is someone up ahead to whom I owe recompense. There is no hesitation in my steps. Mitsuru is befriending half of the cast, while Akihiko is probably beating up the other half. I reach the third floor. After turning a corner and going on for a while, it finally comes into view. Announcement room. This is where Kujikawa is supposed to be.
Are you Kirijo-san?
Kirijo?
As I open the door, two students greet me. One of them is the voice I heard through the persona, Kujikawa, I presume. The other is a girl I don't see in the video.
Hang tight, Miss President. We'll be okay now that help's arrived. Kirijo-san, this girl got dragged into this mess too. We have to help her before that general comes back.
So you're Kujikawa. Sorry, but I'll need you to step back.
Huh?
I turn to face Miss President.
We meet at last. Astounding. You really do look human. But you're not, are you, Labrys?
The girl jumps at hearing this. Fujikawa still looks unsure, but I can't drag her into this. I place myself between her and Labrys.
Huh? What do you mean she's not human? Isn't she a victim who got dropped inside the TV?
Labrys being a victim is one way to see it. But if what I've learned thus far is accurate, then the one who set up the Grand Prix is most likely...
Labrys, our records show that you were loaded with special equipment, undoubtedly a function that affects thoughts and scrambles recognition. That's why we saw and heard illusions whenever we fought. It would also explain General Teddy's appearance, and those who met you believing you to be human.
Special equipment? Labrys? What are you talking about?
Labrys' protest of ignorance sounds as if she's in denial about something she already knows. It's tragic hearing the desperation in her voice.
I'm sure the reason why you captured 2 people with analytical personas wasn't just to keep them from interfering with your designs. I came to a realization when I noticed I was the only one who sensed that noise. An analytical persona's searches clash with your ability. They dispel illusions, so you needed to confine them. You feared that if they caught you off guard and used their persona's ability, this would happen.
With that, I summon my persona, Artemisia. Just as I expected, noise immediately runs across Labrys' body. It's exactly the sensation I felt before each round of the tournament. Artemisia cancels out the force scrambling our senses and the illusion begins to wear off. Little by little, the facade fades away, and her true appearance emerges.
No! What's going on? This can't be.
What was your motive, Labrys? Was it revenge in the end? I can understand why you'd hold a grudge. I caught glimpses of it on my way here. But your hatred should be centered on the Kirijo group. Why drag innocent students into your vendetta?
Kirijo group? No. I don't want to remember. Never again. Miss President, Kirijo-san! She seems to be in a lot of pain. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but you can't push her any further.
At that moment, Labrys grabs the equipment on her back that I had mistaken for wings. It suddenly separates and transforms into a giant battle axe that's larger than she is.
Miss President?
Get back! Hurry!
Labrys approaches one step at a time, her axe at the ready. Her steps seem uncertain, but she's not. She's moving with battle clearly in mind.
The injunction against harming humans has been removed? I see. No wonder she was sealed away.
Behind me, I hear Fujikawa pleading.
Is there no other choice but to fight?
I won't let you do any more damage, Labrys. It's me you want.
Shut up! Shut up! I like that!
To be continued? Oh, we get to fight her. Nice. This is the first time we get to fight normal Labrys. What? She has a date of birth? 1999. Alright. Let's try it out. Oh, she has a bit of a counter. Oh, okay, she grabbed me.
On guard! There! There! What?
Yeah.
The time is now! Enemies down! Artemisia!
It's over. Alright, Mitsuru is like easy mode. She's got a lot of utility. Labrys remains still. I can hear her muttered denials. She didn't use a persona, but it's possible that her mental instability prevented her from doing so. Might have been a blessing in disguise.
I don't intend to turn a blind eye to the sins committed against you. That is why I must bring you back.
Labrys is the mastermind, not only of this tournament, but maybe the entire incident. What if Labrys wasn't stolen, but instead escaped? Considering her powers, it is possible that she deluded the ordinary human hijackers. There's no knowing where Labrys regained her consciousness inside her cage. What if she hadn't awakened on opening it? What if she was already conscious inside there? She had been sealed for roughly 13 years. More than enough time to formulate a plan.
If that was indeed the case, It'd make more sense for this to be a plan devised by Labrys, rather than an unknown party suddenly stealing her away. I can't imagine how much resentment such a small, artificial body could hold. A tragic mastermind, huh?
Huh? Mastermind? You got it wrong, Kirijo-san! That girl's not—
Fujikawa calls out from behind me, but just as she does, I feel an imminent threat rushing towards my back.
What?
I turn around in surprise. It can't be.
Looks like you've saved me some time while I was out running errands.
You're...
General Teddy gives an evil smirk. An extremely powerful version of the noise, far worse than before, is everywhere around us. Fujikawa squats down while covering both ears. It's all I can do to keep from falling to my own knees.
What's going on? This is Labrys' interference pattern.
Mm-hmm. That's right. As thanks for cornering the real one, I'll show you something.
Same cutscene? Same cutscene. I see you. The noise lifts once the mimic cry is dispelled, but what it reveals is something I hadn't expected.
Another Labrys?
Oh shit. Oh, it's another angle of this shot though. It's a new CG. And that's it. Alright. Oh shit, we've unlocked Labrys' story. Yes. Actually, that's the one I want to see the most, because then we get to see what the fuck happened, honestly. Maybe learn more about Labrys' past too, but we will finish off the P3 cast first, and then we'll do Labrys, because I think that's the way that they want you to... the way they want you to play it in order. We're almost there. Stick with me. If you're actually, for some reason, watching all of these, you must have a lot of free time. That's all I'm gonna say. Unless you're me, because I kind of rewatch my videos for any inconsistencies. But yeah, I'll see you next time for Akihiko's story. Really looking forward to playing Akihiko, honestly. I bet he's gonna be a close quarter guy with like long ass combos. But until then,